Good day, everyone. It's Max, and welcome back to Satisfactory Update 4 here in episode 13. Now, for some people, 13 may be an unlucky number, but for us today, it's going to be the busy number, and we're going to have lots going on today, because today, of course, we got to get them modular frames up and running, because we ran a little short on the last episode on time. I had to stop at reinforced iron plate, but today we're going to get modular frames up and running. Then we're going to switch right to rotors running because, of course, we have the stuff for that already as well. So let's get the rotors running. Then we're going to switch to steel ingots, get steel ingots running, which means we then got to get pipes running, which then gets the stators running, which then gets motors running, all in this episode. That's right. This episode is jam-packed full of 6 different builds. Now, with that, I've got so much to do. We got lots to do. So let's get in there and get the stuff done to do it. Woo! We got a lot to do today, so we got to get the move on. All right. Last episode, we made a bunch of screws. They're going up and over to make a bunch of plates, and we are definitely making plate. You betcha. But today, to get all the stuff done, we gotta get some work done. So, now, we got a whole lot more machines to get working on. And so we definitely can't be slowing down now. That's for sure. We got the rotors we got to get running today. We got the modular frames to get running today. We got steel production to get running today. There's just so much to get running today. And in fact, we're not even going to start here. We're going to actually start at steel. So this is where I'm going to run down here. And I know this is a bit of a run. Maybe I should have brought the tractor up here. But the reason we got to start at steel is because we want to start getting this built up and getting the steel actually building up into its boxes, so as later when we go to make the stators and the motor things, we actually have the steel to do it. Now, steel in this case, we are using 12 refineries, and again, this is where Mark III belt at 270, the weird number one, is going to come into play. Turns out these do 45 a minute, right? And we have 6 of them together. And guess what 6 45s do? Yeah, 270. I know. It's very weird math. It's all very weird math. But that is what it is. And so this is kind of why Mark III belt is kind of the target, because it works out in a lot of our builds here for a 10-4 setup, which is why I decided in the long run to just go with the 10-4 setup that I'm originally planned instead of cutting it back to 2-5, because you just can't argue with the math. The 10-4 setup of 4 heavy modular frames and 10 motors a minute just works out too well. For Mark III belt. And the steel belt we're going to have here for a while. So that's what we're going to do. Now, of course, I'm just running around setting these up for the steel ingots. But the other thing I have done is I have saved one piece just for us to build now. And I think it's on this one. It is on this one. So again, as one of the previous lessons was, you can build these, right? You're running your oh gee, holy smokes, your splitters. Why I want the word separator kept coming to mind. Oh man, I really my mind is just boggled. We got our separators running down the center of this concrete platform, and of course, just like the assemblers, these, of course, are requiring 2 inputs, and we're running them just along the edge where the seams of the concrete platform is. And just like with them assemblers, we can take conveyor lifts, and we can't take it from the splitters themselves, but we can take it from the machines and it will accept the input without collision. So that's the important part here, right? And now, of course, we want to hook these two up, like so. And I believe the bottoms are all connected, so that's great. So I want to show you that little trick by using the conveyor belts into reverse splittings works just fine, even with the foundries instead of the assemblers. All right. The other thing, of course, is we've got them all wired up. Now these are all going to come alive pretty hard. Let's just be warned out now. Now we haven't got the raw material going in the back, but it's because these are raw material machines that these are all going to come alive a bit slowly. So we're going to have to hope on that. So we're going to fire them up. They're going to come awful excited, but then we got to run down here and hook up their belts. And we'll get the belts hooked in, and then these guys can start making us some iron ingots. Yeah, so of course we dragged that. Who did we ever? We dragged that coal and that iron all the way from over there. Yep, all the way over here. Let's now plug it in and see if we can't get something out of it. You, sir, can go down to that one. And you can go down to that one. And you can come down to this one. And you can come down to this one. And once again, the only thing that's going to save us here from total power brownout is the fact that we're using Mark I belts. Now, this is another small point. Why have I been sticking with these Mark I belts the entire build? And yes, I will upgrade them to Mark III belts when the time comes, because it prevents overloading the power grid. Of course, the one big thing about all of this work is that we just don't have the spare power. We're still only running on 600 megawatts. You ain't getting nothing from there, buddy. How about we try get a power pole from this end and see if we can't see the power grid for a second. Can you? Yeah, come down here for me, would you? Okay, so we are running almost 1,000 megawatts. Yet we're only producing 600, and the only reason we haven't totally overloaded is because our Mark I belts are keeping us really low, which means, yes, things get produced slowly, but it doesn't overload the system. So we are able to do all of this building without crashing it yet because of the Mark I belts, and that's why I've been sticking with them the entire time. It allows us to keep the building going while and slowly getting built up with all the resources. Because look, see, we're gonna have all kinds of resources coming out here. Look at that. See, there they go. They're all excited. Look at that. See, there they go. I know. I like it when I see new stuff. It's always exciting. Yes, it is. And hopefully, now it's gonna be whoa, hello. Did I not put you into a box? Am I just gonna have you sitting on top? I guess so. Oh, and the reason that is because we've got two lines. You're probably going to do the pipeline. But these boxes down here, they're going to definitely get into their own box because these two lines are going to do the others. Anyway, you guys have a good time. You build up lots of steel ingots for us because I'm going to need it a little later. Okay, now we got to get to the modular frames. Oh man, we just got stuff to do. Modular frames today. And then we got to get to the rotors. And then, we got more to do. So, okay. Now, in the last episode, of course, we were making all these wonderful things, right? We're making the reinforced iron plate. I bet not very quickly, but I don't need to make them quickly. I just need to make them, right? And our Mark I belts are once again saving us from total power overload. And now, of course, what we want to do is we want to take that and we want to shove them in here and, of course, now make us some framing material, right? Modular frames. Takes 10 machines to do a 10-4 build. When it comes to 4 heavy modular frames, it takes 10 modular frames to do that. And, of course, that's what we're seeing here. I believe these are saying no power. Well, we can't have that. So first, let's take care of the power problem. And we'll just boop that right up there. And of course, now you have power, but now you need the material. Now, again, you'll notice here, I actually have saved a whole side for us on this one. And we're going to be able to do that. And just like on the last one, you'll notice here, this is a double-sided, array of assemblers. But this still works the same way. So again, this whole example here was to show that you can, just like when we did the last ones, you can actually do this on both sides, and that same trick will work, no problem. Now we need to run back through here because I got to put some plate down. Do that, and then do that one, and then do this one, and this one. And I even saved the whole thing here for the last one. So, of course, this is, the first one is a 1. And then the second one, I think I'm going the wrong way on that. I am going the wrong way on that. You, sir, have to turn around. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. And I need to line you back up again. So I need you to go here. Yep. There we go. See, I've got this thing in my way, so I would usually, get rid of that first. And there's our 1, 2, 3, and then we get rid of the 2. And then, of course, we're going to run this across. Boop. And we're going to run this one across, like so. You're going to get that. You're going to get that. You, my friend, are going to get this one. And you are going to get that one. Perfect. Okay. Now we just got to give them some raw material, and they should be good to go. Now, raw material. Let's see. We need, rods and reinforced iron plates. Well, we know where we got all that at. Right here. Look at that. There's reinforced iron plate right here. Groovy. And sure enough, we're going to plug that one in right there. And this will take a few seconds to make its way down. And then we're going to take these rods right here and plug them in. Boop. Now, them rods right there are for these, which we'll come back to shortly. We want to make sure that our, for the rotors, but we want to make sure that our reinforced iron plates and the rods here are going to make their way down. So let's climb up here a little bit. Are you coming along? Yes, you are. There you are. Yeah, you good-looking rods. Look at that. Oh yeah, there's the glitch, by the way, the disappearing glitch. I did notice that in their patch notes, and that gets real scary sometimes. Let me tell you. Like you'll be looking at things, and then entire lines will disappear, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, did I mess up a line? And then you go running around for 5 minutes. It's totally crazy. It's totally crazy. I know. But yeah. But see, it's coming back. In fact, I haven't seen that glitch. I think it was like even before update 1. I think this was like one of the earliest glitches I ever seen. So yeah, look, see, boop. It's like things disappear, and you're like, what? And you're panicking. But yeah, let's go see if our frames are now being made. Oh, hey, hello. Nope, don't need you yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Yep, we got stuff coming down here. Doo-doo-doo. Are you not all the way down here yet? I'm pretty sure you're pretty close. You definitely got that. You've definitely got that. Now, again, it could be just a visual thing because, Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, we got things coming down here. And, rods. Are you not going in there? Okay, yes, you are. You're just so slow at it that it's going to be a while. But you know what? Let's pick up the pace a little bit. Let's pick up the pace, mister. Yeah, see, there was a rod that went down there, right? I seen that rod. It's just really slow at it. There we go. Here, you can have 200 of them as well. And hey, this means we're going to get modular frames. Not very fast, but we're going to get them. So, where are the modular frames going? Well, they're coming down here. and then they're hitting this merge box. So of course there's 5 on the left, 5 on the right, and they're going to be going this way into heavy modular frames. But they're also doing a little bit of splitter action to send modular frames back to us in the box. Yeah, because we of course want some back in the box, and that's a cool thing. Now, that's the steel ingots being produced. This is the modular frames being produced. It's just craziness, I know. Now for the rotors to get done. I know. Of course, we need iron rods and 25 screws. Well, we got the screws coming in. If you remember when we were doing the screw build, we actually have this whole banks of screws here for this purpose. And sure enough, we have now taken them screws over, and they're going to come in the back way. What are they waiting for now? Well, they just need some rods. And a little power, of course. Did I leave anything left to be done on this build? So it looks like I did these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I actually did this one. I just left the power off of it. Yeah, and the power's on the front. Look at that. So let's hook up the power first. Make sure that they're all kind of yellow lights and not red lights. And let's just take a quick peek at power before we run them up. So again, our power is doing pretty good. Like our consumption is really bad, right? If we were to crank this all up, this would be bad. But our current consumption is running really decent. Again, due to using Mark 1 belt, it just can't go fast enough to crank this all up. So that is what we want. And so of course we're just going to slowly get some steel built up. We're going to get some Mark 3 done, and while we're doing that, we'll be making our way back over to the power plant to add more power producing, so as then we can crank the rest of it up and then match our consumption, and then of course we'll be good to go. Let's hook up these rods. There we go. Rods being delivered, and of course these guys have been eating up screws because when the power came on, screws are very slowly making their way down the lines. And of course, what I tend to do is, if I want to kind of speed things up a little bit, I'll go to the box, grab some, and I'll just say, here, have 500, right? There's no rules saying that you can't man feed these things if you just want to get some extra out of them, right? So yes, we are keeping everything at Mark 1 belt so as to not overload the system, which of course produces things all kind of slowly, right? But if you want some extra stuff really quick, so like let's say reinforced iron plate, right? Let's say, oh, I'd really like to have some extra reinforced iron plate coming up because I got another build to do. There's nothing stopping you from grabbing some of that manually and saying, here, have 500, and you can have 500, right? What does this do? It immediately just kicks them all into gear temporarily and says, hey, I need to give you stuff right away. Look at that. See? And then that way, you still don't overload your system, yet you get the extra output that you're requiring, which is awesome. And that's not the right box I wanted. I want this box. So that way, if you need extra plate coming up or whatever, no problem. You can just have it, and it's great. So now this is, we're going to get them rotors coming in here. I'm pretty sure we are. And the rotors are going to come out here. Yes, I see one coming out. There they are. Look at that. And they're going to make their way out here. Now, of course, we need the rotors to meet up with the stators to make motors down there. But, of course, we're going to peel them off right now and send them over here to this box, where, of course, we'll be able to pick up our own rotors whenever we want them. Really? We haven't gotten any yet? I don't believe that. I have to come up here and see it for myself. Look, see, there's one coming along right now. Our very first rotor. Slow poke. You're slow poking. Let me tell you, you better pick up the pace, mister. I will get you some screws and you will pick up the pace. But now, of course, we just did plug this in, so you know, I'm saying that like as if we were using like Mark V belts or something. But yes, our first rotor is making its way down the line, and here comes the second one right there. Look at that. That's awesome. Now, with that, I'm going to let these bed in a bit. I'm going to let them warm up, kind of get a little toasty, because we want to be able to save a little bit up so as we can go back down to the steel line and keep working on that, which, of course, is going to allow us to get in the steel pipes and the stators, and then, of course, we're going to have motors, and that will definitely be one of the 2 ingredients for us to get rocking and rolling. So with that, I'm going to bring it back right after the cut, and we'll see what happens. Okay, with a little time to let things kind of get rolling and rumbling around, of course it's time to move on, because we still got to get some stators and some motors done. Now that we've got the reinforced, or not the reinforced, but the modular frames and the rotors underway. Now, this means we need to do a little research. Yay, us. And of course, that research is going to be advanced steel production. We can't actually get the motors because we didn't have them researched yet, nor the stators. But we're going to get a bonus of the minor Mark IIs, which we're definitely going to need here shortly. And of course, we're also going to get the rest of the missing pieces to do the heavy modular frames. For that, we needed 200 pipe. Of course, when we did the cutaway, I had just finished the steel build itself, and of course, was making steel ingots. Now, we only need 6 machines for the steel pipe that we need. So I quickly whipped back down there, whipped up the 6 machines to make pipe, and we now have the 200 pipe to do the research. So what we're going to do is we're going to look into this box. Hey, look at that, there's pipe in here. And then we're going to grab a couple other things. There we go. And now we can actually do this research. So we can throw these things in, and like so. It's a pretty shiny button. Boom. There it goes. Off you go.
Milestone reached. Logistics can be improved with a larger storage container, enhanced conveyor belt efficiency, as well as the ability to store excess power for later use. An additional project part can now be constructed. Further progress to the next phase is now possible.
Well, okay. Thanks, Ada. You know it's getting serious when I got a tractor up here just to drive around. So, let's take a whip down to see what we got done and what we're about to finish up. So, of course, we need 3 things left to get the motors up and running. We needed pipes, which, of course, we put the steel in for. And then we needed the stators and the actual motors themselves because we had to get the research done for those. So in this case, here are the 12 foundries, which of course we're doing our steel ingots from the cut. And of course they were filling that into a box. And then as I mentioned, we had to get pipes for the research. So I put together 6 machines, shoved the machines that were on the back side here. Of course, there were 4 machines that were going to be dedicated to these pipes. And sure enough, I figured, well, there's no sense this line just sitting here. It might as well actually be doing work. And sure enough, it's now doing the six over here and feeding us our pipes. Now, them pipes are actually going down to the front. They're actually doing a little bit of a splitter action here to go down and hang out at the front for a bit. And while we got a nice box down there holding pipes, we also got a line to go down there for steel plate. So, of course, we don't have to come into this part of the factory to pick up plate. We'll always be able to go down to the front. But I also ran the wire down here to go along with them pipes because we are going to have that. Now, for spacing issues, of course, we want to know how much space we need. So I've already put in the build for steel plate. And I've also put in the build for concrete. And steel plate and concrete are going to be able to do encased industrial beams, which of course are going to be back there. But we didn't even have the research for those until just now, so I couldn't even set them up. I just had to get the spacing out for it all. And so in this case now I can say, hey, you can do encased industrial beams. And I'm going to do that just so as it reminds me later of what it is I actually plan to put here. The heavy modular frame build will probably go right into this space right here. That is why I've gotten these machines laid out. So we're not turning on the steel beams yet, nor the concrete, nor this, because that's for another episode. Today's all about motors, and of course our pipes are coming down here, making their way along with the wire over to this little setup over here. Now this little setup over here, of course, is where our modular frames are being made at the moment, and of course our rotors. Oh yeah, and there the rotors coming up here. Look at that, it's pretty exciting. Look at all them frames. Boy, that excites me. Yipper, that looks great. And that box is full down there, and it's filling up with that. Well, the box is full of frames, and the reinforced iron plates is all filled up. It's so nice to have a fully functional supply base. It'll be great here in a couple more days, that's for sure. But this is for the stators. Yes, because until we did the research, we couldn't even assign what these machines were for. So of course now we can go through, and you only need 4 machines of stators, so that's makes this pretty easy. And coming out the other side, motors. Now each machine will do 5 a minute, so we only need 2 machines to get 10 a minute, and of course that's what we have here. Now we have the rotors coming in. And we're getting ready to plug them in here any second. We have the stators that are going to come across, but I'm going to pull this line off. And of course, this is going to be the overflow line, right? This is the line that's going to fill up a nice box down there. Just like the rotors, we have a nice box full of rotors down there, which we can then use for odd and end things, right? Like if I need to craft something with them right away, I can just grab some out of a box. But right now, we just want to see motors work, right? So we don't... No box for you right now. So let's get this turned on first and get this all room. Okay, let's get these wires in there and get you guys in there. And of course, again, we are pushing power pretty squeaky here. Let's put a power pole down here so I don't have to reach up. Yeah, so we are... I know that power is like running in like the 400-500 range most of the time now. So next episode, what are we doing? Well, we're going to take some of our fancy new motors, and we're going to take some Mark II miners, and we're going to go down to the power plant, and we're going to throw some heavy upgrade at that, right? Because we have got to get this way up above 600. Up to this point, our Mark I belts have been saving us, because they can't move the material very fast. The machines can't all run very fast. But they're going to start running them here pretty soon. Look at that. That's beautiful. Yep, load up. There we go. I want to see. Yeah, look at you. Aren't you a pretty looking sight? Oh, yes. You just make your way over here, my friend, and you just load right up into one of these machines. You betcha. Anytime now. Okay, yes, they are moving on very slow Mark I belts. But again, that is part of the plan, right? You just kind of give this, you got to give it a little time to warm up. It's just what it is. So, but yeah, I'm glad to see that it's keeping up quite well. In fact, you know what? Here, we'll even help it out a little bit here. We'll throw a few wire in there just to kind of beef it up a little bit, right? And we'll do the same over here. Yeah, sure. You can have like 63, because these have barely got enough pipe to do anything, right? So me throwing too much wire in here isn't going to make much difference anyway. We just want to get enough of them stators to come out, so as we can start these motors. Oh yes, there we go. 3-2. Oh yeah, 3-2. There we go. So now I should be able to take these rotors, plug them in, and we're going to get motors. Oh yeah. Here we go. Boop. And I don't want these to go anywhere just yet. But that's okay. We'll watch them being made. Yeah. So I've actually I kept this machine from spitting it out, and this machine's allowed to spit out, but it's got to travel a long way down here before it can go to the box. So that's perfectly fine. Are you making me a motor? Yes, you are. Look at that. It's beautiful. And this is going to be 1/2 now of the supply base. This is great. Look at that. Awesome sauce. Well, with 1.35 of the base now done, we'll actually get the other half up here in another couple episodes. And the nice part about that is that we'll have our heavy modular frames, we'll have our Mark II miners. It's going to be awesome. And you know what? I'm actually going to hook this line in here so as it can start shoving them motors down towards a box, because I got a box waiting for them. You betcha. Where's the tractor? We'll even drive down and have a look. Now, of course, we're going to beat it down there by a long shot, but that's okay. That's fine. We'll at least take the drive down. So, of course, them motors are going to make their way along that top belt. Look at them up there. Yeah, they're just hanging out up there. And they're going to make their way down, just like the rotors are making their way up here. And they're going to find themselves into a box down here. And the nice part is that these boxes here, I call these my more advanced boxes. It's the best way to look at them. So, of course, we'll have reinforced iron plate, which is all used at the moment to make all of this. But now that these are all made, this box will start filling up with reinforced iron plate. And then, of course, you're going to have rotors, stators, and motors. So, what's up next? Well, next is going to be us going to the power plant. We have got to get more power. In fact, I am so nervous about things. I actually hooked up the biomass machines on the back end here, because you can see like it's getting real close to that line. I did hook up the biomass machines into the power grid just so as I could flick them on temporarily to make sure that we weren't going to burn out. But again, this does demonstrate the fact of how important it was to show that by using Mark I belt to do all this construction, it has kept our power grid just low enough and slow enough that it hasn't popped the grid over 600, even though we're supposed to be doing over double that now. So don't knock the Mark I belts just yet, because they're doing exactly what I want them to do, and that is to keep everything at a very slow pace, but giving us all the material to get all the things. But next episode, we are doing cool miner things. Where are we? Yeah, Mark II miners. Look at that. We are definitely taking some of this, and we're going off. And yes, I'm going to have to handcraft a few beams. We only need 4 miners, but we're going to take 4 miners, run down to the power plant, and we are definitely increasing its power output. So that is definitely the next mission. And then, depending on how well that goes, we're going to move on with, where is it? Heavy modular frames. I don't even know if they even have them stacked in here. There's the modular frames. Oh yeah, there they are. And then of course we need the heavy industrial beams for those too. So we have the screws, we have the pipe, we have all this, and we have all the things. And then as soon as that's done, we're going to run around like crazy and upgrade all this to Mark III belt. And that way this whole factory will be complete and will be supplying us with all of our needs for the foreseeable future. I'm Max. This is Satisfactory Update 4, and we are almost done with the supply base. It's really, really close. And then once we have the supply base, it's on to the big stuff, right? we're gonna do, we gotta, I mean, it's turbo motors and mega computers and all the things, and we gotta get to the space elevator, and we gotta get levels 5 and 6, and all the other stuff. And I will see you on the next one. Take care.